In this video, I'm going to teach you about special products. So the square of a sum. So I like to call this a perfect square trinomial. And we're going to get to those a little bit later on in the chapter. But if you have the square of a plus b, and you're multiplying the same thing together, notice what you have. You have a times a, well, that gets you an a squared. Since you have two middle terms that are the same thing, meaning when I multiply a times b and then b times a, I get the same thing, so that's why it's 2ab. And then the last term is always b squared. So you can multiply this very quickly together by just taking the first term squared plus twice the product of 4 times x plus 16, the square of 4. And then just make sure you simplify. The 2 times the 4 is an 8x, and you're done. So that's a shortcut, okay, if you notice that you're squaring. And it's a shortcut that's really important for when we get to some factoring later on. Okay, so finding this product. I just want to review or remind you. A plus b squared, well, that's a squared. You have two of those middle terms. Okay, so 7z. I square that. Plus 2, that's that 2 that I've just put in there. 7z times by the last term, which is 2. And then plus that last term, 2 squared. So now we simplify. 7, I have to distribute that squared to the 7 to become 49. Z squared. And then here I have to multiply the 2 times by the 7 times by 2 to get 28z. And 2 squared is 4. Okay, finding this product. Again, remember, a plus b squared. I'm going to take away that parenthesis. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So in this case, my 3x, I'm going to make that like my a. The 4y, I'm going to make that my b. So I have a squared plus 2 a b. I'm going to take away that b piece. Plus b squared. So now I just have to basically fill in. What was my a? My a was 3x. My a was 3x. My b was 4y. My b was 4y. So now I just have to simplify. 3x squared. So I have to square the 3. That becomes a 9x squared. I have to multiply the 2 times the 3, which is 6, times 4 is 24xy. And then 4 squared is 16, y squared. Okay, square of a difference. So the same thing. So it's the same thing we've been doing. Just notice here, when I have a minus sign, that last term, that I should say the middle term, becomes minus. Remember, a negative times a negative is always a positive. So finding this product. Now when I have a minus b squared, remember I get a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So that last term is always positive. So you don't really have to worry about the sign of that. But what I try and remember is the sign here is the same sign. The middle is always the same sign. So again, that's going to be, I'm going to call that my A. The 4, that's going to be the B. So I have a squared, which in this case is 3c, same sign in the middle, 2 times a times by b, always positive, b squared. So now we simplify. 3 squared is 9. C squared. Oh, I love how I didn't write in B. I wrote in the letter B, not what I needed. I needed to actually write in what B was, and B was 4. Okay. So now again, I multiply 2 times 3 is 6 times 4. There's no distributive property happening there because there's no addition. It's just 2 times 3 times 4. Multiply all 3 of those numbers together, and I get 24. C plus the last term squared is 16. Okay, so again, a minus b squared. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That's going to be my A. That's going to be my B. So I start with A squared. Well, that's 2x. Minus 2 A, which in this case is 2x, times by B, which is 5y, plus b squared. So now I go through and I simplify. 2 squared is 4. X times x is x squared. Again, just multiply the 2 times the 2 times the 5. So I have 4 times 5, that's 20. XY plus 5 squared is 25, and a y squared. Okay, product of a sum and difference. So notice what we have here. We have the same thing. So we have a plus b times a minus b. Well, that's actually really nice. I don't know why they flipped that, but anyway. Because it's the same thing either way. A squared minus b squared. Because let's look and see what happens. So I have, if I were to FOIL this out, first terms together, I get a squared. Outer terms together, I get a plus ab. Here I have a minus ab. And lastly, I have a minus b squared. Those middle terms go away. So if you have the opposite sign and the same term starting, it makes your life really easy. So for this, I have the same thing here. That's my A. Same thing there. That's my B. So this is a really, really easy multiplication. Because remember, when we have A minus B times A plus B, I have A squared minus B squared. So this is going to be A squared minus B squared. And you just have to remember that A in this case is 9D. B in this case is 4. So now we just simplify. I want to change my color. 9 squared is 81. I don't know why I thought it was 36. 9 squared is 9 times 9 is 81. D squared minus 4 squared is 16. And you're done. Okay, this one. Again, remembering our pattern. So that's my A. My first thing is A squared, so 3C minus the 7D squared. And then from here we simplify. So 3 squared is 9, C squared, 7 squared is 49, and we have a D squared there. Okay, that was my video on special products.